What's up, guys? It's your boy Jamaica here, coming at you with another deck tech. This is my take on blue-white control. Um, Kind of funny what the meta is like right now. We're in December right now. It's about, I guess, let's say like 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks till next rotation. They're all the aggro decks are out. All the aggro decks are just like all over the place. The last two tournaments, at least like over half the top eight were aggro decks, including the one I played the other time. I was playing Hyperwave. Six aggro decks were in the top eight. I lost to one of them. I lost the eventual winner. So I was thinking, is control good? Is like, can we do control in an aggro environment, like a hyper aggro environment? Because what I've noticed from the control decks is that they don't play certain cards I think that they should. So this is my take on blue-white control. So let's go right into it. Mana base, 26 lands, more white sources than blue. I have a lot of white stuff going on. Cosmos Pool's just like the best land for this sort of archetype. Just storage counters to get you ahead of mana so quickly. And also, one of the lands is where win condition here is Urza's Factory is all the way at the bottom here. Just making guys, I don't play creatures, so lands that make creatures are really good. One drops Oust. Probably the best, like, one mana quote unquote removal spell. Kind of stalls Gabe a little bit, just for the price of 3 life. It's really good against, like, some of the heroic builds. They try to load up their guy, you just oust them. That's fine. And it's like white, so if they put like a Gripspoon on it, then the Gripspoon's gonna fall off if they God's Willing for white. So, that's fine. Elixir, just to kind of grind out the games. Kind of a win condition, I guess you can say. We're gonna churn through the deck pretty quickly, so it needs some sort of inevitability, especially when you don't really play any creatures. Azorius Charm. I love module spells in general, so the lifelink is probably the least useful part of it. But drawing cards and putting tagging block creatures on top of the library is pretty good, especially in like token strategies. You just kill the attacking token or blocking token. But a lot of times I'll just cycle the card. I think it's just good enough. I don't really like Anticipate as much. I'm just trying to like get a breadth of cards. I think all the cards are individually good, so eventually you'll find them. Azorius Signet, one of the few cards that not many people play is Ramp. I think getting to 4 or 5 mana, which you're going to see in this kind of build, is way important. Or just getting a lot of mana in general for like my big X spells. It's really important just to kind of like ramp up. I think this slot is usually taken by Counter Magic, which I am not really playing. I play very few counter spells in main deck. I just don't like to play reactively. This is more of a proactive tap out style control deck. So that's not really tapping. I don't really play Planeswalkers. You really can't play Planeswalkers in this format. So what I mean is just I have just like more answers like which we'll see later. But I need the mana. So Azorius Signet's pretty good at that, especially his Ojutai Monument. It's also another win condition. It turns out to a 4/4 dragon. It was flying. Has some evasion, but it does help you ramp to like the 4 and 5s here. Scatter still wins. My only real counter spell main deck. I chose Scatter because it has Awaken, and kind of goes well with the Planar Outburst that's right here. Yeah, just another win condition. I don't really like to play counter spells. Like I said, I don't want to like just kind of sit back and do nothing. I kind of want to like advance my board with excuse me, with mana rocks and parallax waves, things like that. Pulse of the Field, just a one of, just kind of bridge the gap between like getting to like the later game and just kind of buying a little turn here and there. It's good enough to play main deck, I think. I think in this aggro meta, I think it's good to have these like main deck kind of bullets, and it can kind of come back in a pinch. Parallax Wave, my take for probably the best card in the format. I think it's again really good to sort of bridge the gap in between like the early to mid game to the very late game. This doesn't really kill creatures; it does just exile them for a little bit, but it does stall time, and that's what you really want in this deck is time. And I think this is one of the big cards that no other like blue-eye control deck I've seen ever playing them. So I have many different applications, but the main one here is just to really stall for time. The Fair's Moat, another sort of like bullet, sort of anti-aggro, just like dying strategy where most of the good aggro decks are monocolored, so you just name one color, you probably win the game from there. Except for Heroic, they have like Grifspoon, but like I said, you still have Oust and even Parallax Wave. Parallax Wave will just like knock off the Grip Spoon. So that's why I like the mode here. Playing Outburst full 4 of. Rats are good. Rats are good in this format, especially when everyone's trying to play a bunch of creatures. Awaken is easily achievable. You know, it actually is mainly one of the few ways to actually win the game is through Awaken. I'm not playing the one card, Halimar Tidecaller, that brings back Awaken spells, but it's probably not good enough. Now our big X spell, Stroke of Genius. Gotta do something all his mana, so I had like a split of Jace's Ingenuity and Stroke, but I'd figured that just having more strokes is better. Even at 5 mana, you're only drawing 2 cards. It's not like as good as Ingenuity, but the more many you have, the better it scales up. So in the long run, I think Strokes is better. So just shooting off a baby Stroke for 2 is just fine. You know? Decree of Justice, also pretty great. Uncounterable Creatures is really good with the cycling tokens, or just making Angels is fine too. You do have a lot of mana in this deck. 30 mana sources is a lot. Actually 32 mana sources, quite a bit. So you need some sort of like mana sink, and Decree is my good go-to for that. Sideboard, since everything is basically pre-boarded, almost pre-boarded for aggro, I don't really need to do that much more. So very light on the aggro matchups here. Another moat just to shore up things, and Greater Realm Preservation for mostly mono red. I think mono red actually could be like probably one of the toughest matchups because they have burns, things like that. So I think Greater Realm's just like cheap enough where it just gets under everything, just kind of put it down early and it'll be fine. I thought about Imperial Mask, but I think it's a little expensive. Even at 5 mana, even with all the rocks, kind of just like doing, you kind of want to do multiple things at a time sometimes in that matchup. So Greater Realm gets the nod. Purified Graves for my graveyard matchup for Animator. Sometimes in World Servitude deck, stuff like that. I like the instant speed over like something like Sentinel Totem or some sort of permanent based graveyard removal, just because it's harder to react to. So Purify gets the nod here, and it has flashback, so you get 2 cards for 1 mana, or for 1 card. Pretty good. All the blue cards here are pretty much for like the mid-range and other control strategies. Trail of Evidence is one of my favorite cards for beating up on other control decks. You just get out on turn 3, and if you don't really have an answer to it, you're gonna draw a billion cards because all your deck is basically instants and sorceries. Well, not my deck as much, but you will like do enough instant and sorcery making. And it makes clues, which actually fits into the rest of the sort of package up here. We'll get to that in a second. More scatters, just more counter spells. Same with Overwhelming Denial. It's mainly to help push through my own spells. So with the Surge, so if you have a spell on the stack, then that counts as you casting a spell already. So Surge cost counts there. And Thopter Spy Network is, I don't know if it's like the best thing to do against control or other control strategies, but it comes down early and it just continually makes a threat, which is what I really wanted. Sort of like a planeswalker type effect. If I have an artifact, of course. I have, you know, the 7 artifacts already, and with Trail of Evidence making clues, that could supply some more artifacts. And yeah, just making a Thopter every turn, just kind of like slowly drawing cards with them too. Should be fine. Hopefully should be fine. I hope that works out. Really tapped for ideas of how to just beat the other control decks. Yeah, I just wasn't really sure. So I just wanted something like permanent base that like continually made creatures, and Thopter Schematic is what I came up with. There could be like many other options, but I think that's where I want to be. Either that or just resolving a gigantic decree. Those are both fine options. So I haven't really played that much with the deck. I actually built this a night ago after one of the terms, just thinking about like blue eye control in general. It's like why haven't people been playing this deck like the Optum C that I think played. Maybe I'm just completely wrong. I don't know, maybe I'm just some arrogant jerk that thinks I know everything. But I have played maybe like a couple of practice matches just to kind of get the numbers right or where I want to be. I think this is pretty much where I want to be. Like I said, I'm not iffy on the sideboard plan of like against like mid-range control decks, but I think it should work out. I think like I should be playing aggro decks for most of the part, and you know what better way to test decks is do the fire of the tournament. So I'll be playing Gathering Tournament tonight. Should be streaming. Pretty sure I'll be streaming it. So you'll just catch the full VOD, and the timestamps for the each round will be in the comment of the YouTube video. So yeah, next time I see you, I'll be straight in round 1. So let's dirtle it up and cast some huge X spells.